Commercial presses. The three biggest commercial presses during this period of Chinese history, the commercial press, of course, Shangwu Inshuguan, Zhonghua Books, and World Books. When I initially started researching this for my PhD, I took a look first at their catalogs. So all of these companies produced regular book catalogs saying, these are all the books that we're selling at the moment. And if you look at the book catalog for commercial press, so this is one from 1938, and you go down to the section on religion, which is a subsection of philosophy, by the way, and you look at the Zongjiao books, you'll see, oh, we have a grand total of 5 titles. So when I looked at these catalogs, I was like, well, they're not involved in Buddhist publishing. I don't have to look at them. I'm going to look at others. The thing is that these commercial presses produced a lot of Buddhist titles during this period. Over 100 for the commercial press, 41 for Zhonghua Books, and just 5 for World Books. The thing is that they're very seldom prominently featured in their mass market catalogs. These are much more niche publications and aren't always reflected in the kind of the official view of what these commercial presses were up to. Their output and what they produced is quite often books for beginners. The very same types of books that are meant to have as wide an audience as possible and kind of pull people in who have an interest in Buddhism but don't quite know that much about it. This is an old book, so you have to read right to left. This is the 𝗱𝗲𝘁 ABC, the ABCs of Buddhist studies. There was an entire series put out by World Books along this. You can find the ABCs of everything under the sun. One of the major monastics from the period, 𝗘𝘃𝗲𝗁, contributed a 𝗱𝗲𝘁 ABC. So I'm quite skeptical about its current value. Like if today you wanted to get involved in Buddhism, I wouldn't say to start here. But at that time, it was a good faith effort to try to introduce to people what the essentials of Buddhism were. And on the right here, I've translated an advertisement for this book that appears in a different Buddhist periodical. Right? Uses simple words to explain Buddhist studies. The end of the work addresses misconceptions about Buddhist studies to make sure you have the proper knowledge about Buddhism and not improper knowledge. Has a clear narrative, literary style is fine. It's a ladder and a program for those who research Buddhist studies. These books for beginners might seem to be quite simple, but they're actually quite powerful because in many cases, this is going to be the first impression of Buddhist studies that people have. This kind of lays the groundwork for their understanding of what is proper Buddhism and what is not. And 𝗘𝘃𝗲 especially is very careful right from the first pages of this book to tell people that Buddhism is not superstitious, it's not all about magic, it's not about chanting monks who are sequestered away in monastics, it's about human life, it's about living in society, and it's about improving one's own life through learning. Now that was his view of Buddhist studies, and if someone picks this up as kind of their first book, their first primer, that's going to become cemented in their own mind as what proper Buddhism is all about. It's not just an introduction, it's a way of reshaping people's minds, of changing the impression that people have about Buddhist studies right from the beginning of their exposure to it.